Hi, Keon here, and this is a quick update on my Mega Man Legends tools. So what I've been working on recently is exporting files from the browser and making them so they can be imported into Blender so that they can actually be used in other fan projects and stuff like that. So the current site location is format.dashgl.com, and the leaf URL is legends.html. There's no link to it, so you just have to input this all in there together, and it works just like the other ones. You import, select the files from the DAT folder for Mega Man Legends 2 for PC, and then all the files pop up in here. So I've made a few changes from before. Only models appear, and I don't have textures applied, or I don't have textures viewable on their own. But if you click on models, they should be textured in theory. So here are the animations, and the update I made on the animations is that the Y coordinate is now working. And what I mean by that is if we go down to stage 0F and we look at roll, which is 6020, and we go through her animations, let's see, falling down on the floor. Before this she would be in midair because I wasn't doing anything to the root bone, and then now when she gets up, she actually gets up and stands up. Let's see, on the ground, yeah, gets up and stands up. So these are the improvements I've made so far in terms of the animations. Also, one thing I've noticed, if you look at her knees, I have one set of bones for this leg and then another set for that leg, and according to Sinnoh, there's a flag in there that I need to look for so that these vertices get shared between the meshes, or between the bones, rather than being independent. So there's still a little bit of bugs, but overall they're working pretty well. Anyways, so here the difference here is if you go to export, you'll get a file down here. It's the DMF file format, which is a custom file format that I made because all the other file formats kind of suck. So once you get your DMF format, next thing you're going to need is the Blender add-on for the DMF file format, which is what I've been working on, oh god, 2 weeks ago? Oh geez. Alright, yeah, so what I've been working on for the last 2 weeks. And so you download this from gitlab.com/keondgl/-model format, and it'll be here, and then you put that into your Blender. Actually, I can open up Blender here. So graphics, Blender. You'll install it to your Blender applications, and then if you go to preferences, and then you search dash, there should be import or export here. Which will allow you to go in here, import dash model format. So if we go to downloads and we downloaded 6020, and we should get a picture of roll, or a model of roll to be more accurate. So the reason it's this way is because Blender uses Z for the up direction rather than Y for the up direction. So this would normally be Z and this would normally be Y, and in terms of just rotating the mesh so that the mesh is in the right orientation, that's not bad because you just switch Z and Y and it shows up straight, and even for bones it works out pretty well. The problem is when you start adding in the rotation for the animations, everything just got messed up, and like I would get the Surfbot working and then it would not work, and then I would load a different model like the Hiroko, and the Hiroko would work, but then I would load the Surfbot in and the Surfbot wouldn't work again. So any orientation that I made for any given model would work for one, but it wouldn't work for others. And then for roll, I couldn't get anything to work, and when I just said screw it, I wonder what I should do. I wonder what would happen if I just leave the Z orientation as is and not worry about it. And here we go. It pretty much works. Here you can see the effect on the knees is a lot more exaggerated, so I definitely need to go back and do that, or look at that some more. But overall, animations working in Blender, kind of magical. Just because of how painful getting this to work was. Like, honestly, getting the animations to work in 3JS versus getting them to work in Blender, just miles difference. Not as painful as you would expect it to be, but it's extremely painful. So it's not perfect by any means, but for the most part it's working. And then what you can do from here is go to File, Export, and then export as Collada. And I'm just going to put it in Downloads again. And I have one that I made before, but I'll just do it again. Roll DAE.DAE, export Collada, and then I'm going to hit Control N to reload the starter file. File, import Collada. Oh, there's one step I need to do. So we open up this, we go to Downloads, where it is, and we have our roll DAE.DAE. What we need to do is we need to open this with the text folder, and there's a up axis that says Z up, and we want to change that to Y up. And then if we go back here, close this, file, import, dash model format, nope, file, import, Collada format, downloads, and then we have our roll DAE that we made. And if we go for it, now our mesh is standing up straight. And then if we go here, we can see that she's able to run and everything's in orientation. So basically I'm using Blender as a go-between to start with 3JS, export it into a format that can be read by Blender, use Blender to kind of put that into other formats that you can want or need. Although I maybe know if since Noasis doesn't do the Z up thing, it might be a better idea to try doing this through Noasis. Or one of the benefits from doing this is that if we look here, this gives me a pretty good. One of the problems originally I tried to export to DAE directly, but I didn't have enough sample models to have an idea of what format I was supposed to put it in. So now this gives me a pretty good template for what the DAE format should look like in the first place. I don't know how to do multiple animations with this, and what you see is what you get. Honestly, working with the DAE format is not a lot of fun in any stretch of the imagination. Whatever I can do to avoid this file format, I will do, because like it's about as fun as it looks. So maybe Blender, or maybe work a little bit, or maybe Noasis, maybe work a little bit more with Blender to see if I can do anything, or see how that works. Otherwise, it's at least something. So last thing to talk about in terms of meshes: cd.config blender 2.7.9 scripts, and then add-ons, and then io mesh dmf, and then vim import.dmf. If you look at the bottom here, since I don't know how to do multiple animations, I'm just grabbing one animation and displaying that. So if we go down here, if there's no animations, return, otherwise create an animation, set it to the active animation, and that's that. And then set the number of frames, and so anim equals self.anims 1. So if you want to change the animation, if you know the number of animations from this, it corresponds to the number here. So if we go animation 0, it should be roll standing in a ready position. And if we go back to Blender, and if we go back to our source code, so we want to have animation 0, and then we go back to Blender, reload the new file, enter. Actually, no, I'm gonna close it once, go back, open Blender, wait for it to load, and then file, import, DMF, downloads, roll, and then if we do it, roll should be in the waiting animation. It's not perfect, but it's there. It's at least a proof of concept for animations. So that's where I'm at right now. Looks like I need to look at the meshes for the joints to try and see if I can get those working better, and then either work on file format for Blender or write out the DAE directly, which is not fun. Maybe try an Oasis, or maybe give Blender a little bit more of a shot to see what I can do to improve. Anyways, it's not perfect, but I haven't updated much for the last 2 weeks because I've been working on this. So at least something is kind of, it's not pretty, it's not perfect, but it's something. So if anyone wants to get their hands dirty and start playing around with this stuff, they can. Oh, and last thing that I forgot to mention, Graphics Blender. Come on, Blender. All right. File import dash mono format, downloads, grab roll, and put it upright. Go to material, and then go here and I put hemisphere, and I guess she's facing down, so not much. But as you can see in Blender, all the mesh should be completely textured. For some reason, they put too much on the specular, so she's kind of shiny. You can go to the material and change that if you need to. And now that I look at it, the needs really bother me, so I guess I should take a look at that. So that's it. Update for Mega Man Legends. Some progress in terms of getting these models to be more usable, as is directly from the exporter. And that's it. Take care. Bye bye.